Welcome to Unveiling, where we highlight the stories of individuals who have achieved good success in Christ. My name is Adise Jonas Murphy, and I am absolutely delighted. I am excited. I am, can I say hippopotamus happy, elephant elated, and donkey delighted to welcome to set today one that many of you know. You know him as minister. You know him as shepherd. I am able to call him friend. But today we're going to see him in a whole new light. I'm talking about Greg Anthony Baldeo, Dr. Greg, as he's affectionately called by many. And I'm delighted to welcome him to set today as we look at his life, we look at his story, and of course we go beyond the titles. Now, just to set some context for you, Dr. Greg is not only a pastor or a minister, as many of you would know, but he is also an educator. Yes, he is. He is a strategist. Of course, he is an entrepreneur at heart. And of course, he's an author. The truth is, if I go on and on, we would not finish this broadcast today. But I just have laid the foundation a little bit to let you know that he is so much more than what we see on a daily basis. And I'm delighted to dig deep into his story today. Dr. Greg Baldeo, welcome to set. How are you?
It is a delight to sit with you today.
Awesome.
You're going to unveil me.
I am.
I hope my clothes remains fitted when we're through.
It will. And our guests or individuals, those of you watching online or wherever you're viewing from, you are going to be seeing him in a whole different light today. Now, Pastor Baldeo, Dr. Baldeo, many individuals know you. They know you as pastor. As a matter of fact, I go back to years ago when I was working at NCU Media, and I heard the name Greg Baldeo, Youth Director of the Central Jamaica Conference. At the time, you were, of course, creating waves of transformational leadership there in the Central Conference. You did many great things as a pastor. So I know you as pastor, but I'm recognizing that there are many sides to you, and I'm happy that we're going to be digging into it. But before we get to all of that, let's go to the beginning. In the beginning, we know that Greg was born to a family, a mother, a father, but I want us to tell us a little bit about your formative years. What was that like for you? How did you grow up? What was your family life like?
Absolutely. In the beginning, there was Isaac and Larice.
My Lord.
And they had 5 children. And they were done.
My Lord.
And then, oops, happened.
Yes.
Here comes Greg.
Here comes Greg.
So I am the 6th of Isaac and Larice, and 6 years younger than the brother that I follow.
Okay.
So there is a distance between my siblings and myself. So the younger Greg was a lonester because, of course, they were older. I grew up loved, right? But I wasn't a part of. They did what they wanted to do together. Each of them were 2 years apart.
Right.
And so what you found was Greg at the side of mommy all the time. What you found was Greg, the lonester guy, Greg playing alone.
Right.
As a matter of fact, let me give you a story about Greg playing, right? I would come from school and I would go around the back. I grew up on about 3 acres of land with different fruit trees.
Where was this, by the way? Where was this? Where did
in
you
Portmore, actually.
Okay.
Before Portmore was Portmore, right? Before you had all the scheme houses, I was in the original side of Portmore, Jamaica. 3.5 acres somewhere there of land, fruit trees. And so I would come home and I would get a bottle, put stones in the bottle, and I would ring the bell. It was time for school.
How old were you?
Probably
Roughly?
around 8, 7, 8, somewhere there, right? And then I would teach the trees, and I would have a strap, and I would actually spank the trees for them to learn. And when I'm bored of teaching the trees when they weren't learning as I wanted them to.
Right.
I would set up building blocks and stand behind the blocks and preach. And when I was bored with that, there was a corner store where I grew up, and I imitated. So I would get different things, stones, and just be creative with different things and put it. I was a shopkeeper, and then I was selling the trees. So I was teaching the trees,
Right.
I was preaching to the trees,
My Lord.
and the trees became my customer. So basically, I grew up a lone star, just bodging my own way.
We're going to come back to you teaching the trees, preaching to the trees, and so on, because, even as you said that, I'm recognizing that your calling was being revealed to you from a very, very young age in a way that you probably didn't even understand. But we're going to come right back to that. Let's go back to childhood. So you say you're the last of 6 children. You were more or less a youngster. Was there ever any thought in your mind that, one day I would leave my community of Portmore and be living in the United States or Canada or any other part of the world, being a doctor one day? Was there any kind of thought that existed within you?
So at that time when I was teaching the trees, preaching to the trees, and selling to the trees, absolutely not. I was very sheltered. Okay. We grew up, and I think my entire family grew up sheltered. As I said, we lived on a large land with everything that we needed,
Right.
so to speak, right? And so, no, I had no thought of that. Later on, becoming a teenager, things shifted. But just a youngster, all I cared about was, why isn't that my brothers and sisters are not including me, are taking me where they're going, and playing the games that I wanted to play.
Right,
so that was all was in my mind at that stage.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. We're going to talk about the inclusion and perhaps or lack of inclusion thereof. How did that make you feel, one? And two, we're going to talk about the shift that happened in your life in these years.
Right. Abandoned. A lone star. Not included. Those days, I felt like something was wrong with me.
Right.
While I felt love, I could not identify how is it that I am loved yet not included. And so that stayed with me for a while. And as we speak today, you're going to see how that really influenced my whole life. It journeyed with me, and I had to come to an understanding of what that was doing.
Right.
In preparation
For what was to come.
for what was to
I
come.
love it. All right. So you're now a teenager. You're going to high school. Which high school was this, by the way?
Jose Marti.
Jose Marti, Spanish.
So
town.
I did not pass my common entrance.
So let's go back to common entrance
Yes,
then. So you were in
yes.
grade 5. You sat common entrance in grade 5.
I sat common entrance 3 times,
Oh, wow.
and I
Okay.
failed all 3.
All right, so let's just explain, right? So for those of you who are watching, right, common entrance was the matriculation exam for elementary school into high school.
Right.
And so that phased out. I was the last batch of common entrance.
Oh, you were?
1998. I wear it
Right.
proud. So you do it in grade 5, and if you didn't pass, you would move to grade 6.
Right.
Right. But everybody wanted to not go to grade 6. You wanted
Right.
to jump over grade 6 and go to grade 7. So you're saying you did it in grade 5.
I did it in grade 5, 2
Failed
times
it.
in grade 6.
And,
So I
right, so-
repeated grade 6.
Right, so you repeated.
And then went to grade 7.
Okay.
Because it was an all-age school.
So talk to me about that, because these failures, and one of the points that I want to drive home too is that your current situation does not determine your destiny, and you showed us that. So you failed it 3 times. How did you deal with that? Because I barely passed, and I didn't deal with that well.
Right. So I don't know. School did not make sense. Going into class and they're telling me about algebra, and they're telling me about
Mental
verbs
ability.
and nouns, and I'm wondering, where does this all connect?
Right.
And I remember reading on their tree with my class, and the
Yeah.
teacher looked at me and she said, "You're nothing but a pretty dunce."
Wow.
That stayed with me for a long time
wow.
because I was wondering, why would you call me a pretty dunce? But it was that same teacher that motivated me in grade 7 to have passed the exam in grade 7. And then I reached high school in at Jose Marti. But however, going back, I remember all my friends left me in grade 5. Some left and some stayed on in grade 6. And then by the time we got to grade 6, many of them
Moved
left,
on.
right? But I remember we were doing math and we were doing sets. The teacher said to us in the class, nobody's going for lunch this day unless you get it. And I thought, oh, that's a challenge. And so I sat and I thought about what she was trying to achieve,
Right.
and what was the outcome that she was looking for. And I was the only one in that class that got it correct and went to lunch that day.
So we're seeing something else develop here. So as much as you had feelings of isolation because of, just how your familial situation was, as much as you didn't pass the exams, for various reasons, you were also very driven and motivated by challenges that would come your way.
Absolutely. But watch this. I went to lunch, the only one that day. And I pledged to myself I would never, ever do an assignment and get it right again, because I was alone. So the feeling of being alone from being home with my siblings is the same feeling I got when I accomplished and went outside and I was alone. So that day, that was the only time I can remember that I achieved and was on top, and it didn't make sense to me.
Didn't make sense.
But in grade 7, the same teacher came to grade 7 and she looked at me and she said, "You should never be here. All your brothers and sisters, they passed your exams." All my brothers and sisters went to the same school.
Right.
They passed your exams in grade 5 and you're here in grade 7. Anything you want, your mother will get it for you. She'll go to the moon and back. I thought, you touch my mother, because she was the only one that would keep me by her side and take me everywhere.
Right.
And I said, no, I can do this.
Yeah.
And so I did the exam in grade 7, and that's when I passed. So again, I was looking at, why does this make sense? Make it make sense to me. If you make it make sense,
Then I'll do it.
then I'll do it.
Wow. Okay. That's an interesting foundation. If you're just joining us, you are watching Unveiling. I am delighted to have with me Dr. Greg Baldeo, educator, executive, spiritual, strategic leader, pastor. I remember your titles. Right. But beyond that, he is so much more, and he is sharing his story with us of, just his journey. We're looking at his formative years now and how those have helped to shape who you are seeing. So we're now into high school, Jose Marti, Spanish Town, right at the roundabout there.
Right at the roundabout there, yes.
And so it's Jose Marti Technical High.
Yes.
So it's not just high school; it's a technical high school, which means that you were now exposed to vocational kinds of subjects as well. Talk to me about your journey in high school, and help me to understand what happened at the end of high school for you.
Right. So high school for me, again, going into high school, I was lost. Nothing made sense.
Right.
Nothing came alive for me. Except when I entered, I can't remember if it was grade 9 or grade 10. We had some teacher's aid, practical teachers.
Yeah.
Yes, that came. And they brought life. They were teaching English, I think Spanish, and I think a business subject.
Right.
and they brought life. They came into the classroom with boxes, and they had everything that you could think of as it relates to household items, and they brought the lesson alive.
Right.
Okay, and that was the only time I can remember in high school that I got A's, because it made sense. It was relevant. And I remember we, as a class, the entire class went to the principal's office. We were a rowdy class. And the principal looked at me and she said to me, "Why aren't you a prefect?" And she looked at my records and she said, "Oh, that's why you can't be a prefect, because you don't have grades to be a prefect." And I remember I pulled my grades up, but they never gave me prefect. I just pushed it back down.
Okay.
So it just was not making sense at least.
Right.
And as far as I'm concerned, why should I learn this? Why should I know this? You're not telling me the why. And unless I know the why, it just doesn't connect.
Right.
It was mid-teens, this particular year, that I developed a strong relationship with my dad. Better than any other time I can think of. We would sit and talk different things, politics, religion. You would tell me about girls and just everything that you can think of. And we developed a really good relationship. And it was coming to the end of the year. And this particular day, we had an argument. And of course, when I say an argument, it's a Jamaican household, right?
Yeah,
so you can't have an argument in front, right? But we had a disagreement, and I shouted, "I hate you, I wish you weren't here," and I ran. And I didn't come back into the house until it was late.
But you couldn't come back in.
I could not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But something happened that very night. He got sick, was rushed to the hospital early in the morning.
Right.
And in less than 2 days, he was dead.
Oh my.
My last words to my father was, "I hate you. I wish you weren't around." That was the last words that I spoke to the man that meant so much to me. And that things changed. Okay, he was a sole breadwinner.
Right.
After his death, I didn't know what to do with this. I didn't know what to do with grief. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know who to speak with. I grew up understanding that you ought to be strong, and as a young man, I'm not gonna cry, let anyone see me. So I probably for an entire year, I was crying alone under the covers. Nobody saw it. But then my mother had to come abroad and did odd jobs,
Right.
to send me to school. My grandfather was still alive, and he was taking care of us. All my siblings had left home by that time. And I thought, again, this
alone.
does not make sense. Okay. I pledged, although I was the last of 6, that my mother was my responsibility after Daddy died. And I decided, why am I staying in school? And so...
How old were you at this point? You were
15, 16.
15, okay.
15, 16, somewhere there. I dropped out of school. I just left. And I started a landscaping business.
Hold on there. Just let this soak for a moment. You just got up one morning and didn't put on your uniform, didn't go to school. How did you start a landscaping business, sir?
So we had a lawnmower. And there were guys in the area that was just on the road. You know, this is Jamaica, right? So you have those at the corner and so forth. And one day, one of the guys said to me, he saw me cutting the lawn, and he said, "Would you rent it to me to go cut somebody's lawn?" And I thought, okay. And I rented it to him. He cut the lawn, and then he took it back and he took my money. And I thought,
this is
interesting.
making sense.
This is making sense. Exactly. And then I decided to print some flyers and give the same guy the same money that he gave me. I gave it to him and I said, go distribute it in the areas, the community. And by this time, you started having housing schemes that were being developed. You had Cumberland, you had Westchester, Garvey Mead, you had these housing schemes. So I said, go to these areas and give these out. And I put my phone number on, and lo and behold, I started getting calls. And so I gave the same guy the machine to go cut the yard, and then I paid him. Okay. I was doing pretty well. Pretty well, but it did not give me the scale that I wanted. And so I went to the bank, put on my church clothes. I think I was about 16, 17 by this time. I went to the bank and I spoke with somebody and I said, I want a loan. And the lady said to me, what do you want a loan for? And I told her. And she looked at me and she said, have you finished high school? And I said, what does high school have to do with a loan? And she said, well, you have nothing. You're not qualified for a loan. And I went to probably 3 or 4 different institutions. And I got the same thing. I couldn't scale the business at where I was. And so I thought, no, I needed to do something else. There was something more that needed to come from this. I started to visualize what I wanted my life to look like. I visualized who I would marry. I visualized the kids I would have. I visualized the house I would live in. I never wanted to be a pastor. But I thought I would be a evangelist, and I would be a businessman. And education did not come anywhere near at that time because it just didn't make sense. And I started visualizing what that needed to look like and started working toward that. I met my wife.
Let's talk about that.
I met my wife. It was on the steps of a church. I was visiting Florida. One of the times I came to Florida trying to get equipment for the business. And I went to New Hope, Seventh-day Adventist Church in South Florida.
Wow.
And I found hope.
Mercy. You found hope plus more.
I found hope. And it wasn't the spiritual hope.
To God be the glory.
She was done at Usherwood at the time. And, I never thought I would marry her. But because I had before visualized who I wanted to marry, I started putting the puzzle together and realized that in my dreams, this is the person that I saw.
And it made sense.
And then it made sense. And then it made sense. We needed to overcome a couple of things. One was distance, and I was a charmer then.
My.
A real charmer, right?
We need to get Dawn it on the next episode.
But a long story short, we got married.
Right.
And moved to Canada.
Yeah.
In Canada, I could not find a job. I was either overqualified, underqualified.
But hold on, before that you were serving as a pastor in Jamaica at that time? Not yet. Okay.
No.
So you moved
I didn't go back to school yet.
Okay, so you went straight to Canada.
So we got married, went straight to Canada, and watch this. This woman married a high school dropout, yet she had 2 degrees at the time. She had 2 degrees and she married a high school dropout with one that was just barely making it with a landscaping business.
Yeah.
I didn't have much.
Yeah.
I would say I had nothing.
Right.
But I always knew that God was calling me to something. And I decided that, Lord, I'm going to accept. However, my wife always stated there are 2 persons she would never be with.
Tell me a pastor is one of them.
A pastor is one. You can relate?
I can relate.
And a policeman.
Okay.
So I said to God, well, Lord, she's at work and,
Yeah.
It's just not going to work.
Mm.
We already had one child, and she came home. I made dinner. We sat, and I said, I think God is calling me to ministry.
Mm.
And out of this woman's mouth, she stated, when are we going? I said, going where? I said, going to college. She said, it has been obvious. I haven't said
Wow.
anything to you, but it has been
Wow.
obvious. And that was my reaction. Wow. That was not supposed to be your response. Your
Yeah, yeah.
response ought to be no.
Mm.
Then I said to God, well, God, I don't have a job.
Mm.
There's no way we can move. We were in Ontario at the time to Alberta for
Right.
school.
Right.
And within a week,
Mm.
I got a call from a job that I had applied for months ago.
Mm.
Got the job. And Donette said to me, well, if we go, I'm going to lose my job.
Right.
But Canada at the time gave you 1 year maternity leave. So I said, okay, let's see if you'll get pregnant.
Mhm.
And right then, she got pregnant.
Right.
So I earned enough for us to go to school.
Mhm.
Not only earned the amount, but she got pregnant.
Mhm.
We went to school when our second child was 2 months.
Wow.
And so she got paid for that entire year.
Mhm.
Right? And God just worked it
Mhm,
out.
mhm, mhm. And he continued to work it out for you. You know, I have a copy of your CV, Dr. Greg, and I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, if you were to ever go through Doc's CV, you would be wondering if this is the same Greg that you're hearing about a while ago. But the long and short is, whenever our lives are yielded into the hands of God, he does marvelous and miraculous things. And so if you're just tuning in, this is Unveiling. My name is Adise Jonas Murphy, and I'm sitting with Dr. Greg Baldeo, one who is not only a minister of the gospel, but he is also an educator and an entrepreneur, an author, so many things to so many people. So, Doc, you're talking to us about your life in Canada. You're now married with children. Things started to work out. You went back to school. You went into ministry. You were trained as a minister. What happened thereafter? And we're going to talk then about bridging the gap between ministry and education plus entrepreneurship.
Absolutely. So at school, we got there, and we were the only person of color when we got there. Didn't see anybody else. Took us a week before we saw another person of color, and probably a month, and we started seeing a few more, just a handful of us. Could not find a job. Now, mind you, I have 2 children, I have a wife. Coming into half of the year, Donette started looking at another job because, of course, maternity leave is going to be up. Did not. She could not find a job. So we decided, let's do what I've always done. I printed flyers.
Mercy.
And I went out and distributed in the community.
Yeah.
We started a cleaning company. And this now became my first very successful cleaning company. At this time, I had sent for my mother. My mother was living with us because, of course.
So she could take care of the kids.
And she is the person that I promised I would take care of. Okay. Donnie parents, we also sent for them. They came. We scaled that business to hire over 50, 60 students in that business. Wow. That business bought us our first house.
Mercy.
Okay. And was doing really well. I finished university doing a major in religion and a minor in counseling psychology in 3 years for a 4-year degree. Note, I went in just doing different tests so that I could get
matriculate.
Exactly, because I'm
high school, right?
3 years.
Mercy.
Family 2 children, parents, a business running.
So let me just stick a pin there. What would you say contributed to the success that you achieved during that period?
Absolutely God, right?
Yeah.
And done it. And done it. But it also has to do with my drive.
The mindset.
The mindset, the strategic mind that God was building in me. Over the years, as I look back, I can see that the things that I thought were delaying me were only preparation.
Come on,
for
preacher.
a better day.
No, you're preaching. No, you're preaching.
So I believe that the things that one goes through in life, we should never curse our challenges, because our challenges are what God uses as preparation for a better day.
Well said, Bishop. So here it is. You have 2 children. Parents are now living with you on either side. You're running a business. You just completed your major in religion, minor in counseling psychology. How did you then make the transition to pastoring in Jamaica, 1, and 2, going back into being a trained educator? And might I just mention that according to your book, your multiple, your many. Is there another synonym for many? The plethora of books of you are Dr. Greg Baldeo. So talk to me. There is a gap right there that we need to fill in. So you're complete with your religion degree. Pastoring, how did you go into fulfilling that call, that manifesting itself in reality?
So I was also president, first black president of the theology club at the time. And I saw a gap. I saw a gap between the university and the community. Small university in Canada, only Adventist university. Yet Central Alberta did not know of the university. There was also a drug crisis that was happening in Central America, so in Central Alberta. So I tried to bridge that and created a anti-drug march and rally in the community, bringing the community and the school together. That was my final year.
Right.
That was also a year that there was a freeze across Canada as it relates to hiring pastors. And, a lot of folks that were going to be leaving school in the religion department thought, we're doomed.
Right.
But they were sending resumes out. And Dawn had said to me, aren't you going to send your resume out? And I said, absolutely not. Aren't you going to go talk? Absolutely not. I said, if God took me here, then he's going to take care of it. And I went to bed and I dreamt that the ministerial director called me and invited me to pastor 2 hours from Central Alberta. And I woke up a week after, the phone rang. The same conversation I had in my dream is the same conversation I had on the phone.
So God has a way, and I'm going to go back to the story you shared earlier right now. God has a way of giving you glimpses of what he's about to do in your life. And you mentioned the story about teaching the trees, preaching to the trees, and selling to the trees.
Absolutely.
God was revealing what was to come in your life, because
Absolutely.
it is these 3 areas that have categorized your calling.
Absolutely.
Ministry, business, and education.
Yes.
So go back to that now. So the dream manifested itself.
So, right. And therefore now we needed to move. We sold the company. Okay.
What a faith.
Divested it. And took that money and bought 2 other houses. So started going to real estate investing.
Right.
Went to the area of ministry. And mind you, let me say this. It was at a time where hiring pastors was on a freeze.
Right.
Yet I was hired before I graduated. 3 months before graduation, I got that call.
Wow.
Okay. And just want to say to all those who are listening that God has a way of just orchestrating your life. And if you put your life in his hands, he'll take care of the rest. So we went, I did pastoring a little bit in Canada, but I also became a chaplain of a school, and soon the school board asked me to be the administrator of that K-12 school. And I was administrator with the principal, working through the dynamics, and that's when education started to make sense again. Okay. Note, I went through college. It made sense because I knew where God was calling me to. Right. So that made sense. But being an administrator of a K-12 and being able to influence how the curriculum is taught, being able to influence how students saw the world, gave a different meaning to education.
So the gift then is a gift to leadership. It's a call to leadership, and specifically in this case, strategic leadership in education.
Absolutely. The only thing, Adis, I didn't have the language around it yet. Okay, so God was still putting the puzzle pieces together, but the language did not start to form just yet. Right. So it was after all that I decided, listen, I want to return to Jamaica. I never really left Jamaica, and my boys were toddlers, but I wanted them to experience the culture that I experienced. Right. And so we decided that we were going to return to Jamaica. We returned to Jamaica, leaving our job in Canada, sold our houses, divested all that we had, came to Jamaica, and started another business because there wasn't a call in Jamaica. I remember I went to West Jamaica conference and spoke with the president at the time, and I know the courtesies were extended, but
of course
nothing came.
Right.
But Central Jamaica conference, after probably 3 to 4 months of being there, extended a call.
And this is where we just put a plug. I'm going to do this because every time I talk to Pastor Barrett, he reminds me that the central is essential, all right? The central nervous system is essential. So to the Centralites, we say greetings as well. So Central called you. You started working as a pastor.
As a pastor.
But I knew you as youth director. So how did that happen?
That's a long time after. So I pastored the Malgully district, 4 churches.
Mercy.
Oh, love the people.
Yeah.
We did phenomenal things there, including matriculating a number of the young people to Northern Caribbean University and other universities. Because again, I was leading from a educational standpoint, I was leading from a business standpoint and a spiritual standpoint.
Yes.
So we pastored in Malgully for a little bit, and then was asked to pastor the Mandeville Seventh-day Adventist Church.
I remember that.
Yes. And then from Mandeville, I was asked to serve as the youth director of Central Jamaica Conference.
So you gave a number of years to CJC, and then you were called. Where were you called to?
You mean after CJC?
After CJC.
So before we leave CJC, let's unpack a little at the Mandeville Seventh-day Adventist Church. And then just looking at the areas again, round about that time, my wife and I bought a business, vocational school, a failing vocational school with probably less than 50 students that we scaled to 200 to 300 before we divested. Improve the outcome of that institution. But while at Mandeville Church, we also started what is called Adventist Resource Center.
Tell me about it.
And that's a second chance program that looked at helping individuals who didn't finish high school or don't have secondary subjects.
Right.
And so we started with probably about 10 or 20 students. And when I was leaving Mandeville, we were at probably 300 to 400 students.
Oh my.
And the success stories there are amazing. Individuals up to last year are sending me messages with degrees from universities that they are now teachers, they are nurses, they are professionals. Just gave hope to individuals not having, for whatever reason, whether it didn't make sense or what it was, we were able to offer free classes to them so that they would also have a second chance at life.
So, do you see the connection between your formative years, your experiences, failures and successes alike, in the academic world, and how God was preparing you to now be one who would transform systems and people?
Absolutely.
Because when you spoke to that vocational institute, that element there, the business that you purchased and you were able to transform, I'm saying, but Pastor, I when I look at our Adventist schools in Jamaica, when I look at our Adventist schools across the world, there is something that is not quite happening that should be happening. There is an emphasis, yes, on the spiritual, but the academics perhaps sometimes are lagging a little bit behind, or even the entrepreneurial aspect, lagging behind. So how important are these elements? It's not just about the spiritual.
Right. So
how are the other two?
Every school becomes a school because they do academics. Okay? You're not a school if you don't do academics. Right? So every school, no matter it's a faith school or a public school, you do academics. But there's a second component to sustaining an institution, and that's the business component. Okay?
Talk to me about that.
So you have the academics and you have the business, because the business helps the school to continue to run, right? But in Adventism, you have a third component, and that's the mission component. Now, unless these three are converging together for advancement, then there is a lapse, there is a decline, and what you find is administrators and boards that are just basically looking at how to balance a budget instead of leading from a surplus. You're looking at schools that are trying to fix a leaking roof here, or get another chair here, or another desk here, just trying to make it. Those are not what Ellen White envisioned. Ellen White envisioned schools that are not just reflecting other people's opinion and thoughts, but are producing graduates who themselves are creators and producers. For a school like that to happen, it has to make sense.
I love it. And we have some books here that we're going to be delving into very soon. But just before we go to that aspect, so I'm whetting your appetite, right? So you're seeing Dr. Greg now, the educator, and you're seeing how important it is for vision to be had. Yes, the mission is what sustains, and I'm especially speaking within context of faith-based, or faith-based system right now. So the mission is important, the business strategy is important, the vision is important, and what's the other element I left out?
Academics.
Academics is crucial. So we're talking about Adventist Christian education. Yeah, it's important, and we want to support Adventist Christian education, but we can't support if the level is down. You get what I'm saying? So what Pastor is saying is everything has to work together. So, all right, we just went off on a segue to Adventist Christian education. Let's bring it back. So you're pastoring in Jamaica. You're serving at the Mandeville Church. You're called to the Central Jamaica Conference to serve as Youth Ministries Director. You've laid the foundation for so many who came after you, man. I see Pastor Dwayne Scott, he credits much of what you do or what you've done in the past. Talk to us about your time at CJC.
So the again, when we were asked to serve, and I say we because my wife and I served together,
team.
right? when we were asked to serve in Central Jamaica Conference, when I'm invited to any institution, any organization, whether it be church, school, business, the first thing I want to look at is what's the vision? And then walk backward to look at the gaps. Because alignment is key.
This is the business side.
Alignment is key
Yes.
for any sustainable organization to move forward. And so as I looked at Central Jamaica Conference and I looked at the youth, something was not aligning. The youth at that time were millennials, okay? And millennials want to be doing things. You're a millennial.
I am a millennial.
Yes. They want to be working with their hands. They don't
Engaged.
want to just sit in church, or they don't want to just sit in a program and
Right.
listen. They want to be active.
Right.
And so we started what is known today, running 11 years now, OSE,
OSE.
Operation Save a Youth. And that had 3 components.
Hit it, Pastor. Hit it.
And of course, you know what it is, right? It's the business,
Yes.
the spiritual, and the academics.
Yes.
So OSE was not supposed to be just a one-time thing per year.
Right.
What you see happening once per year is a culmination of what should happen
Throughout the year.
So what we did, I went to different businesses and I got donations.
So hold on. So you're not depending on conference budgets.
Oh, conference was depending on my budget.
No.
When I was pleasantly surprised when I went in and I saw what was given for this department. I sat with the administrator and I said, this cannot work. And they said, where are we supposed to get it from? I said, okay. I said, that's fine.
We'll get it done.
So we got a lot of money.
Yeah.
A lot of money. I remember administrators saying, can you help us out here? But I sat with a number of folks that did business,
Right.
Both Adventists and non-Adventists.
Right.
And I said, this is what I'm looking at. We want to send individuals to school. But we don't want to just teach a man how to fish. Rather,
Give
we
him
don't
a
want
fish.
to give them a fish. We want to
Correct.
teach
Teach
them how to fish. And so we looked at what are entrepreneurial endeavors
Right.
that we could get the young people in. Okay. And whether it was rearing of chickens or creating things, whatever it was, we found a way to give them a start and then educate them on how to ensure that that business is successful.
Wow.
And then we looked at scholarships for those who wanted to go to school but didn't have it to go to school.
Right.
And then we looked at the volunteerism aspect of how you build spirituality. Okay. And that's what we now have, what the public sees as OSE once a year. The first OSE was nerve-wracking. Okay. But we had over 4,000 youth that came out in different projects across. The buses that we got, they were all donated. Everything was donated.
Right.
The paints, everything. We had nothing that we took from the budget, the meager budget that we got at the conference. So I did fundraising. I founded with the team what OSE
Right.
needed to look like, and we implemented that. And that's what is now, after 11 years,
Mercy.
still going.
And that's what we call legacy. You know, you've laid the foundation, of course, through the Holy Spirit, and others are building on the foundation that you have set. If you're just tuning in, my name is Adise Jonas Murphy. I'm having a Wonderful discussion with Dr. Greg Baldeo. He's just sharing aspects of his life. This is the man, the educator, the strategist, the businessman, entrepreneur extraordinaire, right? He is also a mentor, friend, can I just say husband, father? Yes. And he is also a man of God. We're talking about Dr. Greg Baldeo. Doc, we will have to do a part 2 because we have not even scratched the surface of, what took place in his life thereafter, venturing directly into the education system in North America and also becoming author of me can't ever count how many books. You see 4 here, but there's more, right? So we're going to be going into that in part 2. But just to say, Doc, there might be someone watching this interview. There might be a young man who perhaps dropped out of high school. There might be a young lady who's trying to figure out her life, what direction to take. She's at a crossroad. There might be somebody who's encountered numerous failures in their life. The question is, what do I do next? How do I navigate? How do I move forward? What words do you have for that individual?
Don't curse your journey. Embrace it. Because the path that you're on is preparing you for something different tomorrow. Prepare yourself today for what will evolve tomorrow. But that seems very philosophical and
Highfalutin.
Yes. So let me break that down a little bit for you. Believe in your dreams. But for you to believe in your dreams, you got to have dreams. You got to talk to God about where is it that you want to go and where does God see you going. And then you got to embrace a strategic mindset. A strategic mindset is basically making strategy a life skill. And that basically looks at looking to the future and the outcome that you want to achieve. When you have done that, step back, okay? And look at the gaps that's in your personal life. And then come up with a plan of how you're going to fill those gaps. Again, don't sit in where you are today, because tomorrow there's a better day coming.
A better day coming. Those are the words we end part 1, this beautiful episode of Unveiling on with Dr. Greg Baldeo. I invite you, ensure, please tune into part 2 where we take it to another level. I had a delight of speaking with educator, strategist, spiritual leader, author, entrepreneur extraordinaire, Pastor Greg Baldeo, Dr. Greg Baldeo. And of course, this is Unveiling. I invite you, of course, to keep it locked right here. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. You want to like, share, and of course, just get this out to everyone you know. Feeling discouraged, feeling despondent, not sure which decision to make in life. Your failures do not define you. Adopt a mind of a strategist and make this your life skill. So my name is Adise Jonas Murphy, and join me on the other episode of part 2. God bless.